Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Uh, it's been a little bit. I meant to stream on Sunday last week, but then the world, or my world at least, decided to go completely every direction but one that was compatible with me streaming. I had a couple of things happen, but the big one was the hot water heater in my building went out, and since I'm the HOA president, I'm kind of the de facto building manager, and it's a fun. Yeah, it's fun. Um, so I was dealing with that most of the day, trying to fix it. I did I did have some fun. Um, I made a modification to our hot water heater such that it won't turn itself off when it has a leak. So we're very running on thin ice with that thing. There's just a matter of time before it explodes and destroys the whole building. Now it won't do that, but the leak could get much worse, and we wouldn't know anything about it really. So, and then because of our project we're doing with the siding, it's possible that we want to upgrade to, or not necessarily upgrade, but change to an electric hot water heater. But that has its own complications because we have to get power drops put in, and we looked the other day and we have three-phase house power for some reason, so that's complicating things, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. But I am fairly certain by early next week it will be no longer a problem. We'll just have a new hot water heater and it'll be fixed. So yeah. It's all good though. Oh, you might see this. This bag is actually not Corn LP hard case hardware kit, and it is not for this board. It is the finishing, the case screws I need to put the final Zaphod build service together and ship it out today. So that'll be happening later, but I won't do it on stream. Or I might, but it takes like 2 minutes. But anyways, today what we have is we have the Baroboard. And you might be looking at the name and think he's missing an A. And you would be wrong, because I had an extra A in there, Board, and that's apparently not correct. Which he was saying, Sadek, sorry, I'm terrible with names, was saying on Discord yesterday that it was like kind of a he'd been regretting ever since not including the A because people always mess it up. So I went back and changed the stream title and stuff like that. But suffice to say, we're building one of these today. So the Baroboard is it's a 36 plus 2 on each side, so it's a 40 key keyboard. The reason I'm building this is primarily because I needed another board that has RGB backlighting so that I can put these on. These are the Work Louder keycaps. They are, I believe, ABS dyed, or I'm not really sure the process, but they're ABS. They're MX spaced, chalk capable or chalk compatible caps, and they're translucent, so you can see. They support backlighting. And I really only have like one RGB capable chalk keyboard, and that's my Corn, and it already has the MBK glows on it. So I needed another board to build and found this, and this looks pretty cool. It is pretty much your traditional 34 key, or just normal unibody, but it's got RGB, but it does have support for 2 rotary encoders, although the plate that I have does not support that. It has support for a Pimoroni trackball, which my plate does not have support for. So I won't be using either of those today. I do have another board I want to build that has Pimoroni. It also has the roller, and it has like a couple of other things. It's James Incandesa's new board. Um, that he just kind of came out with or kind of announced or whatever the other day. So hopefully at some point I'll be getting my hands on one of those and put it together. But today, mostly focusing on I wanted RGB and chalk, and MX spacing was less of a concern because worst comes to worst, I move my MBK glows to this and put the work louders on my corn. But this is MX space chalk, so it'll work. Yeah. Um, I don't know what else there is to say about it. It does have it does have support for hot swap, and it is using the SK6812 Mini E RGBs. So it should be pretty straightforward to put together. What I didn't realize is this came already pre-soldered with all the diodes. And even a resistor and a switch and a reset switch. I don't know. There's some stuff already soldered on this, which is fine. I just wasn't expecting that, so I've got, diodes or whatever. But he did with the kit give me RGBs and looks like a JST connector, which will come in handy on a different board. So I'm not going to use it on this one because this I'm going to use a Pro Micro. Yeah, this board I'm going to use a Pro Micro because I want to use QMK because it has all the fun RGB animations and stuff like that. But I will use that JST connector for another board. I didn't see that was going to be in there. Awesome. So yeah, he sells this as a kit, so it's got, case parts, and he's got a JST connector in there. It looks like a big power switch too. All the screws you need for the case. The case, for whatever reason, mine had a bunch of like adhesive stuff on the bottom of it, so it was kind of messy, so I was just cleaning up, which is why I got a late start. But it's just a basically flat 3D printed plate. Goes on the bottom. You got the FR4 plate on the top, and you've got a keyboard. So yeah. Oh, and actually it would be this way, but either way. I kind of like it with this up, but since it's got a plate over it, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, let's get started. Yeah, and I will do the RGBs last. I need sockets. I need to get my sockets. Well, I also need a controller, but my little tub of controllers is empty, and I know that is not correct because I bought like a 10-pack of Pro Micros at some point. They're just not in that box. All right. Well, as my friend puts it, we'll burn that bridge when we cross it. Let's see, I said 40, so 10, 20, 30. I'm assuming those are strips of 10. 40. I really need to organize stuff. Maybe that'll be a project for this upcoming week. Okay. Wait, you're doing something in a meeting other than participating in the meeting? How dare you? It reminds me, when I was at Stripe, I was in a meeting, and I was the remote person on the meeting, so everyone else was in the office. And the video conferencing rig, the camera for it was about table level, a little higher than table level, but not too much. And there was someone sitting in front of the camera with their back to me, and they were watching pool videos online, and I took a screenshot and then sent him a message. Just said busted. He turned around and looked. It was funny. Hello, Freya. Hello, Jerry. Hello, Lorenzo, Apsu, everybody. It's quite the group we have today. Just joined Mech Keys. Like the Discord or I tried Mech Keys Discord for a little while and I just couldn't keep up. Too many people. Well, hopefully it was at least a work appropriate video, because that'd be even worse. Your manager's like, you might want to not be doing that at work. Or at least while screen sharing. Oh, I'm sure Mech Keys is a fun place. I just, I'm I don't know if I'd say I'm picky about my communities, because it's not that there's anything in particular I didn't like about it. It just wasn't sparking joy. Yeah, 40's Discord, there are particular things I don't like about it. And it's also way too big and too busy for me. Well, compared to mech keys, anything is relatively chill. I know, to me, 40's focused. 40's is too much what I would say normie keyboard users. So they're all about like mixing, matching switches and like lubing and all that. And I'm just like, that's just not my stuff. I use almost exclusively stock switches. I am all about the board shape and features and stuff like that. So plus I don't understand the row staggered. I feel like row stagger. I've talked about this on stream before, but I feel like row stagger and ergo keyboard communities are almost like completely separate. Because the priorities are way different. Like on my so there's a PDX keyboard club Discord. Someone posted a link to like a mech market post. Someone was selling something like $60,000 worth of keyboards, and they were all in the like $3,000 to $5,000 range or whatever. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, but they're all just row staggered things. And sure, maybe this one's got an aluminum case and it's got the, it's design wise pretty, but function wise, it's just normie. I don't know. It's fine. It's just, people have different tastes and yeah. Yeah, Alice is not ergo. Yeah, I've actually started calling row staggered boards pane rectangles. Because that's what they represent to me, pane. People ask me why I don't like them, and I'm like, well, because my hand doesn't look like this. And, my thumbs are on the opposite side of my hand. Like, that's why. Well, a pane 27, the pane there is not that it's row staggered, it's that it only has alphas and a spacebar. Which, if you're into home row mods and stuff like that, okay. Like, mine doesn't have much more than alphas and a spacebar. Plus, the pane 27 is very clearly QWERTY, and I can't use QWERTY anymore. Not because I'm like, oh, QWERTY bad or whatever. It's just that my muscle memory for QWERTY has completely disappeared. I mean, I've been using Dvorak for like 11 years now. Like, there's no going back. Exactly. But you know what? You would be, because mainstream keyboards are still rectangular row staggered boards, you won't get anyone to switch mainstream, so it'll always be a niche. Although I will say that, I mean, it's still a niche, but at least it's more mainstream stuff coming out of oh, what's the place? They do all the ergo boards and have for a long time. And then stuff like the Moonlander. Like, I think ZSA has a great product there. I think if they could get the price down to, or if they could get like a reasonably priced or competitively priced ergo keyboard, they could really hit the mainstream market. The problem is that's really hard to do, so their market is still primarily people who are already into mechanical keyboards and willing to spend $400 on a board. Kinesis, that's the company I'm thinking of. Yeah, Ergodox was my first split too, and it didn't last very long for me. Primarily because I was trying to make it be a row staggered keyboard layout, and it didn't have enough columns. And I just couldn't wrap my head around. It didn't have a, like, when I built my Ergodox, this was back when you had to solder the entire thing. There was no PCBA with diodes. It was entirely hand built. It was like the first iteration of Ergodox on drop. And it was mass drop at the time, in fact. So there wasn't like, it didn't have a great default layout. You had to do it yourself. I don't know, it just didn't work out for me. So I went back to my type matrix, or really at that point I went back to my my this thing. Not that particular one, because that's one of the new Touch ID ones. But I went back to a standard row stagger board because I had fallen out of love with the type matrix by then. Or rather, like, it wasn't that I wasn't in love with it, because I was still in love with it, but it was one of those, like, I love you but I can't be around you anymore or something, because it just, the type matrix was great, but it was too fragile. I still really want to make a type matrix inspired board, mechanical board. Damn it. Okay, you are upsetting me, board, my little socket friend here. There. Yeah, the Ergodox thumb clusters are just enormous. Yeah, I am definitely a firm believer in the unibody split. I'm not against full splits, but for me, the unibody split is the better form factor. Although I will say one of my favorite boards is still my wireless chalk corn that I built with no case. It's just PCB and bump-ons because there are no wires. It's two pieces. They're tiny pieces. Like, it's a head turner. People are like, "What in the hell is that?" I'm like, "It's a keyboard." Yeah, there's definitely room for, like, here it's a split keyboard, but here's you can make it into a unibody by just putting it in a case that holds both pieces. But I'm also not anti-case. I just often don't have a case because PCB with bump-ons is plenty enough for my needs for the most part. The only downside to doing that is if you're effectively permanently unifying it, you still have two controllers, which can be cost prohibitive if we're talking about wireless. It can be just straight up a pain because if you're changing your firmware, you got to change it on both. And you don't always have to change it on both, right? Like, there are definitely plenty of situations where you only need to flash one side. I am one of the people who I will always flash both sides unless for some reason I can't flash the other side, just because I don't want there to be any question. I don't want to have to remember the situations and just whatever. I'm always going to flash both sides. Now, if you did the controller IO expander instead of dual controller, then that eliminates that problem. But I don't know. Yeah, you can do that over TRS. The problem with that there is you can't then make it really, you can't really make it wireless. You can make it wireless from, the central to the computer, but between the halves would always have to be wired. All right, those are all the switch sockets. So now we can get started on RGBs. Which means it is now betting time. How many of these am I going to have to fix? There are 40. So that's 160 pads. Well, 159 effectively. Because the last one doesn't need to actually work. Yeah, ratcheting tenting sounds great. I think it is probably going to be difficult to pull off, but I like the idea. Oh yeah, the tape is probably my favorite contribution to the world of soldering. Arg. Yeah, I think a petri dish would work better, but I would still want to have something on the bottom. So I would probably line the bottom of it with a thin layer of silicone, and then go from there. Okay. I am trying a slightly different approach to soldering these RGBs. I'm putting down a big fat glob of solder, and then I'm going to reflow it with flux. The 2812s aren't bad, but the non-E SK6812s can die in a fire. Actually, let me try slightly different approach. Let's flux first, and then put our fat glob of solder on. I haven't tried glass cleaner to clean boards, but isopropyl gets flux off pretty nicely. Okay, that works really nicely. Yeah, you got crystal reds. Crystal reds are the only 3-pin Kale chalk switches that exist. All the rest of them are 5-pin. Don't ask me why they're the only ones that exist, and don't ask me why they exist. I can't answer either question. But I can tell you that those are the ones you got. You got crystal reds. I don't really get why anybody makes 3-pin anything. If for whatever reason your board doesn't have the other holes, just clip the pins off. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's for cost savings because there's slightly less plastic used, but I can't imagine even at huge scale that is a big factor. Unregistered. So those switches are actually injection molded, so the time is not a factor. Like, there's no extra time. It's not like they're milled out individually, which that would be a hell of a thing. They the only thing I could really think might be why they do it is for materials cost, because that extra little bit of plastic, and just so everyone knows what we're talking about here, here is a chalk switch. So on a 5-pin or PCB mount switch, you've got 2 electrical contact pins here. And then you've got the center pin, which is also the stem kind of pokes down into there. And then you've got these 2 pins on the side here, and those go into holes on the board and hold it in place so it doesn't twist. And also, they're long enough that they'd probably resist rotation this way too. So they just kind of help hold everything in place. Because on a plate mount, you put it into the plate and that holds everything in place and even breaks the little tab off, as you can see. That holds everything in place. So you don't need those pins because the plate is what's holding the switch in from moving. But on PCB, which is why 3 pins are, at least in the MX world, generally called plate mount switches. And then PCB mount switches are ones where you're designed to not have a plate. So, like, if you look at this, if you were to take this bottom part off, that is a not insignificant amount of extra material, extra plastic. And at scale, maybe that adds 10% of the cost, or 10% to the cost of each switch. I don't know. So, oh, I mean, there's reason, I can see reason to make a PCB that doesn't have those holes. If you're designing the board to be plate mounts, then you don't need those holes on the PCB. In which case, the end user of the switches can just go through and snip those off. I don't know. That's how I look at it. But I'm sure people have opinions. And there's probably a reason they exist other than just, oh, well, cost. But I'm guessing it is a cost thing. And they probably got a bad response from people. So they haven't made any more of them. I don't know. Or it was like a custom, someone's like, oh, I really want plate mount chalk switches. I'm going to, get your MOQ and buy 100,000 of them. And then here we go. And then, of course, Kale just keeps making them. Because if they sell, they'll keep making them. Yes, that is true, Fish. Um the footprint, if it's snug enough, you're not moving that switch. And I really like those because it makes, if you're soldering chalk switches, it makes it so much easier because you load up all of your switches in one shot. And then flip the board over and none of them fall out. Yeah, it's flux. Yeah, Flux Pen is great. My problem with them is it's really, I don't know if it's possible to get replacement sponges. I know my Flux pens that I have bought have come with a replacement sponge, but I feel like they don't last long enough, and I run out of sponge well before I run out of flux in the pen. And then yeah, I like it. It makes it easier to glob more of it on there, and there's pretty much no such thing as too much flux. And it's not like it's expensive. Yeah, but I don't use flux for diodes. Sorry for I was looking at the stream preview, and for a second I thought I saw the focus shifting in and out, and I was like, but I thought I had the focus set to fixed. All right. So I'm going to try one other thing now. I'm going to try fluxing first. And actually, let me just, while I'm here, flux both sides. Okay. I will say there is part of me that wants to give the non-E SK6812 minis a try, another try. But I still feel like I have enough problems placing them because they want to fall through the board, or you have to get them in there just perfectly so they lay flat or whatever. Just like they're just a pain in the ass. These just sit so much better and easier to solder. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely fish. If I was shooting for like extra pretty looking solder joints, flux everything because that helps with the smoothness. Yeah, I think I liked that method the best. Excuse me. Oh, you have some serious faith in my skills to not give me any spare LEDs. I have plenty of spares, but to not have them in the kit is showing some trust. Yeah, I would highly recommend including a couple of spares. If for no other reason than if I drop one on the floor, these things are impossible to find, especially like these little black diodes. There's just, it hits the floor, I write it off. Like, I don't even bother. I don't bother in part because I have spares of diodes. Like, oh shit, I dropped onto the floor. Let me grab another one. But like, also because there's no way I'm gonna find it. Also, if you think about it, it's probably cheaper to ship a few extras than to have to. If someone's like, hey, so when I was installing this, I blah, 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 blah. Can you send me a couple more? And then you got to go down to the post office, and the customer has to wait. And you paid 10 times as much for the stamp as you did for the RGBs. I don't know. That's my thinking, but it's up to you. I'm fine. Like I said, I have spares, so if I wreck one, it's my fault. Plus, then eventually, it's like a buy 20 get one free thing. People buy enough kits, then they have all the diodes and stuff they need for the next one that doesn't come as a kit. That is just a PCB they bought off of JLC or Shawgut sent them or something. All right. Um, let me just take a look here real quick. Um, yeah, this side looks better, so that's gonna go. Okay. I don't think there's really room underneath for the controller, but I don't think there's room on top for the controller. Let me pull up the build guide. Whoops, wrong button. Standoff gives it room underneath. Wow, those are really tall standoffs. Okay, looks like it goes underneath. Build guide. Yeah, I am 95.8% certain that the controller can't go on top because there's just not enough room. Because with chalk switches, this plate is going to be pretty much against the PCB. So, okay. Tote's fine, just making sure I don't build things wrong, because that would be embarrassing. Okay, now I finally have to find my Pro Micros. No idea, Beck. I have never built with a metal plate. The only metal keyboard I have is that. So now we have some decision time. So I put, whoops, let's get this out of here. So I put Pro Reds, Robins. I have more Robins. That's just the one that was in front of me. Or G-Chocks on this board. And I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure I have enough G-Chocks, so I'll have to count them. But I know I have enough Pro Reds because that's a box of 50 or 40. Oh, for frig. Frig. Whoops. I cut through my brand new sticker already. Sure. I don't know. While I'm here, I'm going to actually put these away. No, I am not a mix and match person. Although it does remind me, I want to... So I have a button on my Cornelius that is dedicated to locking my computer. I do want to put a box jade in there so that when you click it, you have even more confirmation that you push the button. And also so that I have something to do with a box jade on an actual keyboard that I would actually use. Yeah, I don't even like... mixing springs would drive me nuts because then I'd pull them all off and I'm like, I don't know what these are. I can't... I am anal enough or OCD enough or whatever that, like... I would have to somehow label them. I don't know. I don't even like the fact that I have... I'm almost certainly I have 62 gram and 68 gram boba U4s. I just hope that they're, you know, close enough that I never notice. That I never notice if I've mixed them on a board. Because that would drive me absolutely insane. Like, not even funny would drive me insane. It does pain me to use a blue controller with black and purple. But this is... I don't think this can run ZM or QMK. I don't feel like trying to get it to run QMK. And ZMK doesn't have... Like, ZMK supports LED light strips. Not like matrix RGB. Like QMK, you look in QMK firmware, there's configuration in here for, like, you put coordinates on here and it'll map the patterns to it and stuff like that. Oh, black nail polish. Oh, that is a fantastic... Oh, that is a fantastic idea. I even have purple nail polish. Okay. Upcoming stream, I will nail polish a controller. But before I do that, I'm going to... This is really sticky. I'm going to clean it off real quick. I actually don't have any black nail polish. So I'd need to get some for that. But that's fine. Because I have a nail salon about 5 feet from my apartment. That's dry enough. Yeah, I just don't... That blue... It doesn't spark joy, you know? Okay, so... Sanity check, we're putting it on the bottom. The two grounds are on that side. So we got two grounds here. We flip it over there. Boom. Let's plop some headers in here. And I tell you what, those cheapy vibrating toothbrush things, they're like the poor man's Sonicare. They don't really probably do anything, but they buzz in your hand. They make you feel like you're doing something. Those work perfectly for cleaning flux off of a PCB. Spray some isopropyl on there. Perfect. Yes, you have to. There's no room on the top for the controller. In fact, I am gonna have to make sure that these are fairly flush soldered. So that's gonna be a thing. I hear I'm looking for my tape and it's right here. Oh yeah, please send me nail polish. I need to get mine redone. I did it recently and got gels and they flaked off immediately and I was just like, you know, I think I'm just going to stick with regular nail polish instead of gels, because gels are really hard to get off. Unless they just flake off like mine did almost immediately. I probably could have gone back and had them redo it or whatever, but that's not what it was about. It wasn't a shoddy craftsmanship with the nail polish or something like that. It just didn't work. All right. We need some eye protection. Oh, well, are you saying gel or are you saying acrylic? I'm not talking about like big long fingernails. Those are acrylics. Gel is just UV hardened polish, basically. It's supposed to hold up better, and it kind of does, but this last batch I did didn't work out very well. There's another confirmation that I'm doing the right thing by wearing glasses. I heard it ping off of my light. Okay, well, my headphones just died, but I charged them all morning. Maybe this cable isn't plugged in. No, it's plugged in and has power. And it's charging. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, I think this is good enough. Tape modding. Yeah, I did it once. I'm not gonna lie. I said at the time this is totally worth doing once. And I retract that statement. Although I also don't think I did a very good job of tape modding. I think I like the floss mod better. I think it probably does a better job. Or string mod or whatever, where it's like you wrap a bunch of layers of dental floss or cross stitch floss or whatever around the switch body. I just don't think the tape mod sticks very well. And it's also a pain in the ass. Well, that's when you learn how to get really good with tweezers. Doctors use tweezers to tie things, to stitch things. Yeah, there's a lot of I think potential in that science. And that's the way switches are silenced anyways, is with silicon. Like if you pull apart a boba, like there you go. Speaking of bobas, I have not built a board or tried the boba U4Ts before. And also they're the new boba LTs, so I bought a bunch of both. And I think I'm going to put the U4Ts on my MX Osprey to try out. And I'll figure out something for the LTs. No, the Elite C, Elite C and a Pro Micro are functionally equivalent. The main difference between Elite C and a Pro Micro is that the Elite C has a USB-C connector. That's pretty much the main thing. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because it also has more pins on the bottom here. I don't think that unlocks any features. Sorry. I totally, yeah, totally, totally missed what you were getting at there. That'd be a good question for Sadek. Yep, sorry. It's probably what they, because he's got support for OLED, a Pimoroni trackball, which would be I squared C, so not necessarily, but maybe you have like an extra pin for interrupt, and then two encoders. So it's possible that those are extra. You need the Elite C for those features, or some of those features at least. But I'm not sure myself. Yeah, I don't know how those extra pins, the nice nano pins, are do anything though, because I don't see any traces to them on the back here or on the top, and I can't see the bottom anymore because the controller is on there. Well, I'll be able to see it in a second once I finish soldering these and I can pull the controller off. Yeah, I see a bunch of vias right here and vias here. So I'm guessing there might be something that goes down there, and this is the traces are on the other side and they punch through to get down or something. I don't know. Unlock the 2 encoders. Okay, cool. All right. That is looking pretty good. Okay. And I usually take the headers, the plastic bits of the headers off, but with a Pro Micro, that's pretty much right up against the PCB anyways, so I'm not going to bother this time. Because you kind of want to have it sandwiched there with the USB port. Okay, what is this telling me? Ooh! I just got a letter. I'm not gonna sing the song because I'm not a singer. But think of Blue's Clues. I just got some mail. Well, I mean, I generally do that, and I think that's why most keyboards have the Pro Micro mounted the way they do, is because you get that kind of for free. Oh, okay, nice. So the encoders are only Elite C and Nice Nano. I wonder. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, I wonder, are they pin compatible with this, but there aren't extra pins on the bottom here? What controller other than a Pro Mic or Elite C am I thinking of that has extra pins on the bottom? The NRF Micro doesn't. The QT Pies don't. That doesn't. The Pro Micros have different pins. Maybe I'm thinking of the Pi Pico, but that just has extra pins in general. I don't know. Yeah, I tell you, I'm super, super, super happy that ZMK finally has a, at least in the very near future, official release support for a, or ZMK has a cheap Pro Micro alternative. Because we've had a good Pro Micro alternative for a long time with ZMK with the nice Nano, but that's a $25 controller. When you're talking about like comparing it to a Pro Micro, which I can get 10 packs for $40, like that's different. But $6 for a KB2040, yes please. And it's not in a release version yet because it's not even the RP2040 support isn't even a release version of Zephyr yet, but it does work. I mean, I have a keyboard with a KB2040 running ZMK. It's just not out. It's not released, you know. It's not released from upstream. It's not released then from ZMK. And as Pete says it, you keep the halves, which messed with me for a little bit. Or not messed with me, which I didn't quite understand, but what it means is if you break it, you keep the halves. Like if I somehow bricked the controller by trying to run this like totally, you know, I don't want to say totally hacked together because I'm sure Pete put a lot of effort into it and stuff, but it's like totally unconfirmed, unverified version of ZMK running on there. Like if it breaks, it's you. I mean, not that his software comes with a warranty anyways, but you know what I'm saying. Like, he's like, yep, you're totally at your own risk here. Yeah, onboard NRF, like are you using an actual NRF directly, or are you using something like the IoT, Holy IoT module? Because I really dig the idea of the Holy IoT module. My main problem with onboard controllers is all the teeny little parts you got to source, and they're a pain in the ass to find, and it's just like, or I can buy a Pro Micro and slap it on there, you know? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to flash this before I soldered it. Which means it is definitely not going to work. See, you're going to Holy IoT. I am thinking more just smaller controllers, so I want to kind of standardize on the Shaos. Because with a Shao, you can get 30 keys in a matrix. And with a Shao with an I/O expander, which we'll see soon, because as I just said, I have mail, that's what's waiting for me. You can get a lot more than 30 keys. But if you're making a split with Shaos, the Shao is plenty enough for a split. I mean, you know, of course, right now ZMK doesn't support wired split, but the BLE Shao would presumably work, or the BLE, you know, QT-Pi 2040, or well, actually no, that's not BLE. No, I think the BLE Shao is the only Shao footprint Bluetooth controller right now, and it doesn't even exist. I say that because I ordered one and it hasn't shipped yet. Pete ordered one, it hasn't shipped yet, but I ordered a RP2040 Shao from Arduino and it is shipped. So the BLE ones don't exist yet. They're vaporware. which kind of pisses me off because it's a little bit of bait and switch. So they're like, look, they're all, you know, we've got this thing, and it's like, great, and took a bunch of pre-orders, and they're like, all right, cool. Didn't tell us they were pre-orders. But it's okay. It'll be fine. Yeah, that's fair. If you want all that stuff, then yeah. And it is better to do an embedded controller there because you have a lot more pins to work with. Because the RP2040 or the Holy IoT or whatever, they have a lot more pins than you can expose on a Pro Micro. So. What I will be really excited to see is the first board that has an embedded RP2040 in it. And then follow up to that, the first board that has an embedded RP2040 and Bluetooth. Because think of the possibilities. Well, I mean, I keep hearing chip shortage, but RP2040s seem to be reasonably easy to get. And Xiao's with the SAMD21s seem to be reasonably easy to get. Like, I don't know. But Pro Micros, at Mega controllers are impossible to get. Like, you can get Pro Micros, but you can't get the actual, like... what am I thinking of? The AT... The, like... dip ones? What are they called? Wow, I got more 2% notes here. No, that's not the controller. That's the socket. Okay, well, I can't find it right now for some reason. I know it's in this box or somewhere near it. But basically the at Mega controllers that go in the little sockets. They go in this kind of socket. Those are hard to come by. Like, I ordered some from what is it? Not DigiKey, but one of the US vendors. And they were like, those will ship in July. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then a couple weeks later, they're like, they're going to ship in August. And I'm like, oh, that's extra terrible. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. That goes to here. I never did end up labeling these cables. I have a 10-port USB hub on my desk that is powered and also has a bunch of stuff permanently attached to it. So my microphone, this camera, there's at least one other thing in there. And so, like, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, do I have a micro USB cable connected to it? I can't really tell without, like, pulling on each one. But if I just labeled the permanent ones, then I would know, okay, well, that's this camera, that's the mic, that's the phone. All right. QMK toolbox. So I didn't find a... What? Okay. So I didn't find a anything on in the QMK actual like repo for this board, but on the GitHub for this board, there is a firmware directory that has vial firmwares. So that's what I'm going to use. I just want to download. Right click, download linked file as. Okay. Boom, there we go. Put that into downloads. There we go. And I will say, as an IT professional, as much as it pains me to say those words, don't download rando software off of the internet and run it. Unless it's for a keyboard. And really even not. Like, I was joking the other day because Pete sent me a firmware for the Osprey, and I was joking that yeah, it's probably hacking my bank account or something right now. Oh yeah, especially for a keyboard, it's risky because you know it can make your computer do whatever it wants. You know, it can set a timer and say like, okay, 20 minutes from now, when you walk away from your computer, it's going to enter a sequence of key codes or keystrokes that's going to, you know, start, run, you know, and take you to download TeamViewer or whatever and run it and get it all set up while you're like off getting coffee. I mean, there's just, don't do that. Oh yeah, the trauma.tar. So this is from a person I just recently discovered on Twitter. Her name is Kate. I will pull up her Twitter profile, but she does cool stickers. She's a developer at Fastly or something like that. But not Fastly, but like some thing. But she does really cool stickers on her Etsy. And I saw this, and it's great. What you don't see, you see the fuck here, but you don't see what that's saying fuck to, and it's saying fuck cancer. I bought that because I lost a friend to cancer this year. Actually, I've lost 2 friends to cancer this year, possibly, or this last year, anyways, and possibly a third. So cancer can get fucked. But I thought that was pretty funny. All right, let me see. Pull up Kate's Twitter here. So if you're not a Unix nerd, I'll explain this in just a moment. Come on, Kate, where are you at? Wait, I just saw her. Kate. Oh, she's at Eventbrite. Okay. Well, she has really cool stuff. So, if you're not a Unix nerd and you're like, what does that mean? So, a tar file is a zip file. It's more complex than that, but it's a zip file. This command here, tar-xvf, means extract verbose this file name. So it's basically you're unpacking trauma is the joke. You probably can't see it on camera, but the window title, this is a terminal that it's in, the window title says 10x dev, like is the host name or something like that. So it's like extra layers of jokes. And it's also sparkly green, so it's extra fun. It's just hilarious. But yeah, Kate rather is really awesome. She has two rats and shares pictures of them, and I've like begged her for pictures of her rats when I was having a bad day, and she came through. Really cool. Go buy some stickers. I'm not sponsored by Kate, but I would absolutely be sponsored by Kate if she wanted to. Go buy some stickers from her. Okay, so that is the Pro Micro on there. Yeah, so we didn't see LEDs come on. And I don't know if that's because they're all broken or if because they're not enabled. Let me see. Do I have Vile installed? I do. Unsupported protocol version. Please download the latest file from Get File today. Oops. Oh, CentralLink, you did not just do that to me. I'm only making you spend money on good things. Has Matrix, but are they... What? I really hate unsigned software. Come on, folks. Oh, okay. Wait. I need to see the problem. File. Replace. Okay, and we'll eject that. Okay, well, we'll find out in a second. What is the key combination to turn them on? Okay, RGB toggle is this key on layer 3. Layer 3 can be activated with that key. And it's a toggle, not a momentary. Okay. Let's put a couple of switches in here and try this. I don't have enough G-Chocks for this. Unless I have G-Chocks elsewhere that I can't find, and I'm not going to look for them right now. So, Pro Reds it is. I actually don't need, I just need 2 right now. See, even something as big as a switch, if it hits the floor, I just go grab another one, because I'll find a switch later, but I am definitely not going to find an RGB later. Unless I get very lucky. Okay, so hold, no, not even hold, just tap that, and then hit there. Nada. Okay. So we've got some troubleshooting to do. backlight. I'm actually going to put... Oh, that's right, because I can do this on the fly. I don't even have to reflash this. There are some things I really like about Via and Vile and stuff like that, and this is one of them. So I'm going to put... Maybe? Somehow? Oh, it's crashing. Well, I was about to say I don't have carpet, but I do have a rug down here. Okay, backlighting on. And it's not... Runtime error, failed to communicate with the device. I don't need to reset this to do that, right? Oh, I think it was in bootloader mode. Oh, wait, I know what it is. I think because QMK Toolbox is open. It's having issues. Let's go ahead and close all this stuff out. Reset. See, I love it when myths like this happen. Or legends, I should say. It's not rumor has it, it's legend has it that I compiled or assembled an artsy keyboard out of components from the floor. It was a running joke in my old apartment that I had in Indianapolis 20 years ago that, because we were always building computers and playing around and stuff, if we found a screw on the floor, like a case screw on the floor, we were like, case screw on the floor? No way. That never happens. Okay, so I've got it so this turns Bluetooth or backlighting on. This is RGB toggle. Don't know which one I need. I think it's just RGB. And then this is RGB mode. And then this is brightness. So between all of these things, it did, I had QMK Toolbox open and like, it's fine now. Oh wait, can't I know with Via, I can just control the lighting directly from here. Direct control, RGB speed, RGB brightness, color. Let's go with hot pink. I don't even need to use the keyboard to control it. I can just do it from right here. So the red light is on there. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. Let's reset this again. Lighting. Let's refresh this. Lighting. Solid color. Red. Brightness. Can and vial as well. Okay. Matrix tester. We'll just... Okie doke. Wait, unlock the keyboard before testing. Unlock. In order to proceed, the keyboard must be set into unlocked mode. You should only perform this operation on computers that you trust. To exit this mode, you will need to replug the keyboard or select security lock from the menu. Press and hold the following keys until the progress bar below fills up. Yeah, I know what it could be. I just want to... I'm hoping that... Well, I want to rule out other issues. Like, see, it's not even... In order to proceed, the keyboards must be set. You'll need to replug it. Press and hold the following keys until the progress bar fills up, and it wasn't doing anything. I don't have the firmware on, or the controller on wrong, do I? And it's, all the joints look good. Okay, we're just gonna go through the solder joints on the RGBs until they start working. The controller itself is not warm, so I don't think it's that I have one installed backward. They're all oriented the same direction, so as long as one of them is oriented correctly, they are all oriented correctly. Because they're all oriented the same. And the arrow is that way, so that's where the angled thing. Okay, so I think they're all fine. Are the RGBs in switch number order? Like switch 1 is also RGB 1? Okay, go away. Close. Oh, Vile. You are not happy with me. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so fun fact, Vile just straight hard locks when you unplug the keyboard. Okay, computers are great sometimes. Now, so D2, I'm assuming that is the, no. I was gonna say, I'm assuming that's the RGB pin, but I don't actually think so. Because that goes that way too, but it has a via, so it goes somewhere. I don't know. LED 1 is at the top left when you're looking at the board from the top. Right. So, and that's switch 1, so it goes in same order. So switch 1, switch 2, 5, 6. Or does it zigzag back and forth? Oh my god, we're starting to create lore. So, fun fact about Kit Chen. A long time ago, I joined Freenode, the IRC network, and the username Kitchen was already taken, which just. But I looked at their info, and the person's name is Kit Chen, and I'm like, fuck. Okay, he's got a little more. A little more of his name is that. He's got a little bit more claim to it than I do. Unlike the owners of kitchen.com, which is some friggin' domain squatter nowadays. They probably want like $100,000 for the domain. What am I doing? Chalk. Schematic. So I would also add as a feedback a PDF of the schematic would be super awesome. Okay. QAZ, so we'll just do we'll just do some fun stuff here and see what happens. Okay. And because I'm going to be plugging this thing in and out a lot, oh, come on. Wait, did they put lead seeds on it? Sorry. I'm starting to run low on things, and that's good because when I leave, that's less stuff for me to store or get rid of. But it also means that sometimes I'm out of something that I would like to have more of. I'm hesitant to buy, and one of those things is magnetic tips for my USB cables. Yeah, a PDF or a JPEG or just some sort of like exported thing. So it's got a green and red light on. Let me see if I can clear this stupid alert thing. Vile is not happy with me. No. There we go. Okay. Vile is finally dead. QMK toolbox. Go ahead and do this. Okay. So it's not stuck in bootloader mode, so it should be working. Okay, yeah, I got the barrow or the... Oh, you know what the problem is? Okay, good. That makes one of us. Well, this isn't at Mega. It's a Pro Micro. far as I know, the only difference between those two is how you flash them. But I could be wrong. Okay. Yeah, because I'm just looking at Baroboard firmware. Directory on your GitHub. Cool. So it's not me? Cool. All right. While you do that, I'm going to pull these switches out. And start putting them in the plate. So the plate is basically the same thing on both sides, except this has the JLC order number on it. So this is going to be the top. They are going like this. Just going to do the corners. And then I'm going to start assembling the case. Where does that power switch go anyways? So see the JST connector. Pads somewhere here. But I don't see pads for the power switch. Unless it's the... Yeah, this is it. Okay, this is the pads for the power switch. Cool. I really dig boards that add support for... First-class support for power switch and battery pads. Extra double bonus points if it's JST connector. Because soldering battery legs is pain. I don't like it. Okay, so this looks like a hex tip. We got our hex 1.3. Wait. Okay, I'm waiting. Commented on that earlier. Uh oh, what did I do wrong? Shiny side of this? The case or the plate? Mounting holes are not symmetrical. Okay. Bottom plate. Okay. So basically like that. Well, but then, oh, so shiny side needs to be up, and this is the bottom basically of the plate, the switch plate. Okay. The only reason I was doing it the other way up is because this bottom is kind of ugly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm assuming you had it like at the bottom of a stack of stuff or something, because it had a bunch of like adhesive, looks like stickers had been on there all over it. And then the printing isn't wonderful. So I was like, well, this side looks better. I'm going to use that. Okay. Shiny side up. Got to work on that first layer, man. I'm saying that that first layer is one of the reasons I got rid of my printer. And I realize I'm talking to my screen and the camera. Yeah, anyways. Just because like I needed to really dial my printer in, and I was just like, I don't really care. I'm just going to sell it. I'm going to sell it eventually anyways. I might as well sell it now. Plus an opportunity came up. Someone was looking for a printer, and I said, here, buy mine. And yeah. So it was opportune. And then he's going to dial it all in, and then I'm going to send him stuff to print. I'm basically going to be like, here, I bought you some filament. Can you print this for me? What is monotonic fill? To me, this first layer issue looks more like it's not quite level. So it's getting bubbling. Or maybe the because like on this side, yeah, you've got the lines. But on the bottom, you've got lines and a lot of like mottled nastiness. Well, this is the top though. Or is it? I don't think this is the first layer. I mean, it could be first layer, but then what the hell happened here? Glue sticks. Oh, to make it so it prints or sticks better on the first layer? I didn't even know that was a thing. I just thought you had to just have it. They are long screws. I did print one last thing before I sold my printer. I printed a skeletal. So at some point I'm probably going to build that. Although it required a lot of support material. So I've got to really get in there and dig all that stuff out. But it looks like it printed pretty well. I'm pleased with it. And then here's the base plates. So this goes on the bottom here, on each side. Yeah, I just was using glass with no glue or hairspray or anything like that. But I don't claim to be any sort of expert at 3D printing at all. It was one of those things that it's like, well, if I really want to, I could probably head down this path. And if I had more than 3 months left before I basically got rid of my everything, I would probably do it. But I've reached a point where in order to really get more into this, I need to do a bunch of work to the machine to dial it and, you know, get the BL Touch installed, which means I need more firmware and probably need to print some parts and like whatever. Just more than I felt like doing. Especially, like I said, if I can just give it, if I can sell it to somebody else and they can print stuff for me. Oh my god. This is one of the tallest chalkboards I own. This is huge. So much room for activities. Ooh, Freya, that looks really nice. Do you mind if I share that? Well, maybe I can't because this won't help me. Or this won't let me paste it. Well, I'm just gonna post it in the stream discussion on Discord. Well, no, that's not letting me paste either. What the hell? Yeah, one of the things I would have wanted to do is figure out different like bed coatings or whatever, bed surfaces. Because I've seen like people who have like flexible sheets they put on their bed, and then it sticks or whatever. Like the first layer part works. Oh wait, hang on. I see what I need to do. The first layer part works, and then when they pull the thing off, they can peel the like it helps for bigger parts because they are going to stick to your bed more. But you can kind of peel it off. Like getting that that skeletal off of my bed was like I almost needed a hammer. In fact, I did actually mess up one of the thumb parts trying to get it off because I was trying to pry it. So yeah, pictures don't work, but I don't know if that'll open because it's a private message. Let me, oh wait, that's the link to the actual, let me delete that, remove, post it in the Discord. Okay, yeah, just look in the Discord. I really wish YouTube would let me embed a Discord channel as the chat. But yeah, that looks really nice. It looks really, really nice. It kind of reminds me of the bottom of the Zaphod because the Zaphod case was printed on a textured bed as well, and you can't see any lines at all. Like it looks like it's just someone poured plastic out. It looks fantastic. At least the one that I have, which I think is from the same printer, same person, but it's an older generation of the case because it's for the thing for the prototype. Okay. So, Sadek, are we good with the firmware? Because I think I'm kind of at a point where the next step is putting all the switches and stuff on the plate, but I don't want to do that until I've got the RGBs verified that they're functioning. While we wait for that, speaking of Zaphod, so this is what the bottom of the Zaphod case looks like. This is a 3D printed case. You would not, like, you can barely see lines going across here and maybe across there. I don't really know. But like the textured plate or the textured bed is just gorgeous with this. Yeah, let me try putting the just with this stuff. It probably doesn't look as goofy with with the PCB hanging from it. But with just the plate and the switches, it looks like there's so much room. It's kind of crazy. Okay, 20, 30 minutes. Okay, I can kill 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, so you could definitely use shorter standoffs with this. Especially if I flush soldered those the Pro Micro a little better on this side. I don't know if I have shorter standoffs. Let me see. This is one of those times where we may actually be building a case from spare parts that I have. Because I have so many standoffs from other boards that I've built. I need 2, 4, 5. I need 10 of them of my given size. So I've got these, which I think are 4mm. And these are probably 6. And that's like 8. I don't know. Yeah, the problem with doing a flush mount Pro Micro is the port. Okay, yeah, so I think I have 4, 6, and 10, maybe. Because if these are 10mm standoffs, they're the same length as I have there. So let me try these 6, but then now I think the screws are going to be too long. But I just bought a bunch of screws, so that's not a problem. Screws might not be too long. There's a little bit of room in there. Hello, J Inc. Okay. Wow, I don't know what all those Reviung 41 cases are doing, but I like it, and I would like to subscribe to your newsletter. So this isn't quite building as from parts that are on my floor, but definitely building it from spare parts that I have laying around. Oh, well, so I saw the short screws. I assumed those were one was the top, one was the bottom. I didn't realize I had enough for to put all the short screws. No, I don't want to put this parts bin on the floor because there's a ton of really small parts in here. I could put these on the floor because these are useless. Who needs stabs when you have all 1U keys? I don't even remember why I have those. And this I remember why I have, because I got it from my Reviung 41. Only to find out that the 2U cap that I was putting on there doesn't support stabilizers. So there's no point in having it. But it was sandwiched between the plate and the PCB. So I had to wait until I swapped switches to get it out. So it was just in there being a rattle thing. 1U stabs? Well, I mean, chalk does have 1U stabs. And Daryl is trying to make them suck less. Oops. Ron, you missed an opportunity there. It'll add to the floor. Get it? The floor. Floor. Sorry. I'll see myself out. Okay. Oh, I even have these really fancy standoffs. Let's put this in here and see. Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to go much shorter than this for standoffs without doing a better job of soldering the let's see if I can get that on camera better. Without doing a better job of soldering the Pro Micro. But shorter standoffs definitely are doable. And I think these are probably 6mm standoffs instead of 10. If only I had calipers to measure them. Get the old high-end Amazon calipers. Now these are 8s. This is 8.95, but that's full of lies. Or maybe it's not, and these are 12mm. Either way. Whatever. TLDR, smaller, shorter standoffs work just fine. Let's see if these screws are short enough or if I need to swap them out. I have a feeling I'm going to need to swap out the longer screws. Yep. So if you do that, you need the shorter screws on the underside because otherwise they meet in the middle. Okay. Let me put this in something so that it doesn't get lost, because I almost just lost it on the floor. So while we're waiting and I'm doing this, I can talk about some upcoming stuff. So recently, Jerry Cave sent me a whole bunch of fun-looking stuff. So he recently designed a 2% milk with an embedded controller. He calls the 0.2% milk. And I've had a PCB for it for a long time, but I never had all the components. And he was like, oh, you don't need to worry about trying to find all the components, whatever. He just sent me a whole box full of components. So that'll be coming up soon. What's kind of fun about that one is it uses an ATtiny 85 controller or something, which it makes the Pro Micro, the 32, look enormous. Both physically and also in terms of like the size of the firmware that you can put on it and stuff. So it can't run QMK because you can't make QMK small enough for it. And apparently you have to ISP flash it. So that's a thing. But it's not going to run QMK. It's basically just I make an Arduino sketch and have it do something. I've never used Arduino Sketch or Arduino IDE, so that'll be interesting. I've used CircuitPython, but obviously if it can't run QMK, it's damn sure not going to run CircuitPython. So that'll be fun. So I'm going to be building that. I think it's the 2% milk thing is a fun meme anyways, but then to have one with an embedded controller just to me is just, extra meme-tastic. Yeah, the ATtiny 85 is tiny. And he also, so one of the things he said, so full disclosure, I didn't pay for any of this stuff. He just sent it to me. I offered to pay, and he was like, nope, your money's no good here. So fine. But one of the ways he's kind of like making me pay anyways is he said that I have to try to solder the LEDs, and I don't remember the package number or whatever, but they're tiny. I suspect they are the same size LEDs as the so I actually have one right here as the Ferris, or possibly same size as the, what am I trying to think of? The Ferris or the Uno. So the Uno keyboard is a single key keyboard that actually runs QMK. But it has they joke that it has per key RGB, because there's only one key and there's one RGB on it. But it's also really tiny. But I soldered that one successfully, so I'm confident I'll be able to solder it. It'll be fun. We'll have to see exactly how I go about soldering it, whether I try to do individual pads or drag solder or whatever. Yeah, Jerry's really cool. And he's got some fun ideas. So he also sent me a macro pad that uses the same controller, I think. I don't remember what he calls it, but I've got it. It's in the box of stuff he sent to me. So that stuff's going to be coming up soon. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I need to go through the box and like basically kit everything out so that I am not like digging for rando components during the stream. It's all organized. Well, that's fun. These aren't all the same size. Yay, tolerances. Fill the AT Tiny Flash with a Unicode of 7 tweets? What are you talking about, 7 tweets? So that's coming up. Then Nomon, he found the controller I need or he found somewhere to get a bunch of the controller I need for my Torn, and is sending me one of those. So I have those. I have all of the rest of the parts for it that I ordered from Mouser, except for a couple of resistors that they said were out of stock, so I need to just find a different manufacturer or something. I don't know. Jerry might have sent me those too. There's also a local electronics distributor that I might be able to go to get those parts, so I'm not too worried about those. But that'll be coming up. Finally, I get to put my Torn together. I've had it for like a year now, and the PCBs, and haven't put it together. What else? Oh, I just got a bunch of stuff from AliExpress. Like I just got my order that I put in a month or so ago. So I should have all the parts I need to build my NRF microcontrollers. So I'll probably build a couple of them on stream and then like figure out how many more I can build with the parts that I have, because I don't remember if I bought enough for 10 or just one or whatever. But I have, I think, 15 PCBs for it. So I'll probably do a little giveaway or something like that. Maybe not like an official giveaway with a capital G, but like if anybody wants one, I'll send you one until I run out. But the thing I love about it is it's got a cat on it. That's 95% of why I wanted this. Is because of the cat. So it's basically a nice Nano with a cat on it. I don't know. A little bit different, but it runs ZMK. Or should, I think. So I'll try to get those. Those are difficult solders. Okay, so I got shorter screws, but not enough of them for both sides. That's fine because as part of the ZMK builds, or not ZMKs, the Zaphod builds, I bought a box of screws because Pete sent me 2mm and 4mm, and I need threes, so I just ordered threes. But I ordered a box, and it's extra funny because the box is completely full of lies. They're just kind of randomly sized, but I got the ones I needed. So I've got a box of screws somewhere. I just had it earlier. I am so unorganized down here. Oh wait, I know where it is. So I got this little box of screws. What's funny is it's like M2.3 or M2 by 3. No, those are the M2.3s. These are M2.6s. I don't think there are M2.4s in here. But I really just needed the M2.3s, so I got what I wanted. I think I ordered enough controllers for them, yes. I actually haven't looked in the box, and that order was put in long enough ago that I don't remember what all was in it. Box is upstairs. So I'll probably go through that this afternoon or something. Too small? Yeah, the NRF microcontrollers are also really tiny. Or at least there are a lot of really tiny surface mount components. So, okay, cool. That'll work. Now the question is, do I want Phillips on top or hex? And I think I'm going to Phillips. If for no other reason, then the hex are already on there and I'm not going to take them off. Cool. So while we're still waiting for firmware, I'm going to do some actual work. Throw these in here. Just double check that it actually works. Bongo, bongo, bongo. What board are you putting these 40 switches in? Oh man, YouTube's moderation stuff is funny. So this message from James, do you lube your chalks? It's held for review because apparently lube is risque. Oh. Okay, well, I mean, you only need 34 keys for the Zaphod, though. Cross thread our way to victory. Now, I think these heat set inserts are just a little out of alignment. Totally fine. Nope. And Ron, extra lubed perps is apparently a little risque for YouTube. I don't know why, but today is the only time that I have had. So I wonder if I accidentally changed a setting. But the only time I've had YouTube like hold for moderation messages. Hello, Lorenzo. Welcome back. You missed everything. The Baroboard is done. No, the Baroboard's still in progress. Little bit of firmware shenanigans are happening, and I have run out of stuff I can do before I test the LEDs. So I'm finishing up a Zaphod, because this needs to get sent out today. This is the last Zaphod build of the Zaphod builds. No, it's not perps. It's definitely lube. Because there are some other messages that I had to. I don't want to say I had to moderate, because that makes it sound like I had to delete them or something like that. I had to approve them, so I had to moderate them, but moderate for approval earlier that I didn't mention. But then I noticed that it was happening more, and I'm like, okay, well, YouTube doesn't like it when people say lube, I guess. Because, you know, a room full of adults can't talk about adult topics, I guess. Someone said the word lube in chat, so I've been demonetized. Yay, firmware. Okay. Perfect timing. Oh, I need that one still. just not this one. All right, let's do the wrong cable, the Baroboard. Oh wait, I need to have this ready to go first. This one is RGB light, not RGB matrix. Okay. Cool. Flash. Oh man. They all work. And that is bright as shit. Oof, that is like painful bright. Okay, I'm gonna unplug this. I don't know if that came across as super bright on camera, but whoo, in person, that was some blinding. Let me take a look. Oh yeah, you can barely even see it. Oh no, it's red now. They were blue. I don't know if I have brightness limited in firmware. I'm not gonna break my USB port. I'm using a magnetic tip. Okay, so RGBs all work. It's time to just finish putting switches in, I guess, and then caps. So let me actually, before I do that, put some stuff away. We have one more. See, and this is why I wanted to double check that the firmware was right. Because I would have spent all day resoldering, reflowing that RGB1 and just to find out that it was the firmware the whole time. Because like I feel like I'm at the point where if none of them work, okay, I just reflow LED1. And if that doesn't work, something else is wrong. Because at least some of them should work. And obviously if RGB1 doesn't work, you know, none of the rest of them are going to work, so I can reflow that one. But if reflowing that one doesn't work, then yeah. So anyways, them are my thoughts on the matter. Nah, that's fine. It's fine that it wasn't quite working. It was just more of like, anyways. We're at just a little over 3 hours. Okay. Almost finished with this. I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to fade a little bit on the brain front. That's okay, because the hard part is done. Hang on, phone's ringing. Hello? Alright, so something I did recently was I turned off unknown callers, so they just go straight to voicemail. And then now I have to deal with contractors and all sorts of stuff, people calling me whose numbers I don't know, don't have in my phone. And for a little bit, I thought maybe some of them were just like, oh, well, he's not answering my call, I'm not going to leave a voicemail. So I shut that off, and now I get scammers again. But I tell you, it's been really effective at getting rid of those scammers. And it's funny because if you look at my voicemail, sometimes they'll still leave a message. So I've got a couple of messages in there that are like, hey, your car warranty, which is hilarious. They used to call me about my car warranty when I didn't have a car. I'm like, I don't even own a car. Like, you're saying my warranty is about to expire. I don't have a warranty because I don't have a car. Like, dumping the bits of a switch in a single bag. Yeah, definitely. So what I do, or what I've done in the past, and you may not be able to do this because you may not have nearly as many of these laying around as I do. What I've done in the past when I've taken apart shock switches, I take 4 of these, or 3 in a plastic bag if I'm doing bag lube springs, and I will pull the parts out and stick them stem, bottom, top, spring. Just have them lined up. Yeah, I've even, especially when I was at Stripe, was trying to figure out a way to work with the bank or work with somebody to be able to use the fact that I get so many of these credit card scammers who are trying to get me to give them my credit card number so they can ostensibly lower my interest rate on my credit card or something, to get the bank or somebody to give me a bait credit card number. Like, any charge that goes to this thing is just straight up fraud. And then track it down. Either track it down or at least disable the merchant account they're using or whatever. Like, I realize that's kind of hard to do because in order to really be effective, you don't want the scammers to know that this particular card number is a junk card. So if they try to process something on it, you want to allow that to happen, but then that means that they can like go buy gift certificates and stuff like that, or do stuff with that card. But I think there's probably some break-even point there of like, well, yeah, so it's going to cost the credit card processor a little bit of money because they end up eating these costs, but we get to track down criminals. So I don't know. Well, Egen, we will be done here shortly and you can get to bed. I appreciate you staying up late for me. Okay, so that is all the switches installed. It's fine. Let's put some caps on this. And what's extra funny is I've lost the caps. Like in all the digging and stuff that I've done, I've somehow misplaced the caps. But I've found them. So sadly, this set does not have non-homing F and J keys, nor does it have what would be a step better and have cold rack homing keys. So I'm basically stuck with setting this up as a just sort of QWERTY keyboard. It's fine, but it's just kind of like, you know, it'd be really nice if it even just had non-homing caps. QWERTY. Because like with sculpted board or with column staggered boards, it's not as hard a requirement to have homing caps. Yeah, these are the work louder caps. They are backlight friendly, which is why I'm building this board, because I needed a chalk backlight board. But yeah, like I could almost get away with not having homing caps. I could probably totally get away with it. It'd take a little bit of getting used to. But even if I wanted homing caps, I can mod it with clear nail polish, or you drill the teeny hole and sink a ball bearing in, or there's a bunch of different ways you can add homing to a keycap. Add tactile homing bumps to a keycap. And it'd just be really awesome if it had non-homing caps. But that's fine. That's my primary critique. My other primary critique is that these are ABS. I'm not a fan of ABS. But that's not like, because they're translucent and stuff like that, it kind of has to be ABS. It's fine. It's not a like, oh, these are terrible, you should make them not ABS, but kind of wish they weren't ABS. Okay. Sewing needle pins. I would love to see that. Yes. Are they just the round top pins, and you just heat them up and push them straight in? Yes, I would greatly appreciate that. You are awesome, Freya. Okay. Okay, yeah, nice. So now we have some things here. Have that as space, that as tab, backspace. Escape here. There's no, like, we've got a 2U spacebar here, but there's no, like, blank. And I don't want to just put dots on the spacebar because I think I'm going to put just dots on the rest of these. So I'm going to put that little fun bit on there and dots on the rest of these. I'm realizing I should have screwed the plate on before putting caps. Not that it's not possible or that I can't take the caps off, but it would have been easier. I think my brain was saying, like, no, don't, or put the caps on first in case the switches don't work or something. You know, don't assemble the plate until, you know, the whole case until you've tested the switches. But then, anyways, put the go key somewhere. Okay, I'll put the go key on that remaining spot. Oh. I put away the screws I needed. Derp. Yeah, this would have been a lot easier to do without the caps in place. Now I'm catching up with Discord. Oh yeah, I like how those pin heads look. I also like that desk mat. What is that? If I could read Japanese, it probably says what each of those things is on top of there, but I can't read Japanese. Yes, I saw that. Thank you, Sadek. Sorry I didn't acknowledge it. I was tunnel visioning toward the thing. Ooh, is that glow in the dark green? Also, I really like the that's not the NB logo, right? That's like your logo. Looks really nice. Nice. Yeah, at one point, during the Zaphod group, Pete posted something in the Zaphod channel about, like, the glow in the dark blue not being blue, it's like normally clear or something like that, or just kind of like whitish. And I was like, wait, there's glow in the dark blue. I should have gone with that. So actually, one of the reasons I haven't built my Zaphod is because I just have the clear acrylic, and I'm just like, I really wanted to get something different, or I want to get something different. I think I'd like it better. Get like a glow in the dark thing, or I don't know. So, haven't figured that out yet, but I will at some point. Because that Zaphod deserves a good home. All right. Put the go cap on. And then now I just need to test it. So, well, I need to test it and put bump-ons on. So actually, let me throw the bump-ons on here real quick. Okay, now let's plug it in, and I'm going to reflash it with, maybe not. Oh, whoops, one of these is longer than the others. I need to fix that real quick. Yeah, I use a 1mm screwdriver flathead. So we'll demonstrate real quick. One millimeter screwdriver. You go right here between the stem and the housing. It slots in there really nicely, and you just kind of pop it out. Sorry, it's hard to do it on camera. It just pops right off there. The first couple of them you do, you feel like you're going to break something. Just pops it right apart. You're definitely not hurting anything. And because you're not pulling at the little tabs themselves, because if you do that, what happens is you can bend it up like that. And that'll make it harder to put into a plate because it'll catch on the side of the plate, which happens anyways, but it'll be more so if you do that. But if you go right in here, it just pops it right off. So that's how I do it, and that's how I would recommend to do it. So you just pop off the one side. The hardest part about doing this is if you go like this, well, one, I just put it back on the other side. But if you go like this and aren't careful, I'm trying to demonstrate it, trying to make it happen, then stuff can go flying. Well, that didn't go flying, but like stuff can go flying, and these little springs are hard to find on the ground. So anyways, that is my 2 cents. And if you don't have a small enough screwdriver, I really seriously cannot recommend enough this iFixit kit. It's got every size of everything. It even has pentalobe screws if you're, or pentalobe drivers if you're doing Mac stuff or whatever. I think it even has the like 3-headed things for I think this is from Jerry. The 3-headed things for Nintendo stuff. Like old school Nintendo had like 3-headed or three-pointed whatever. Yeah, anyways. I'm sure there are plenty of off-brand ones that work just as well as the iFixit, but that's like $25. Well, so there's the pentalobe Torx, which is a 5. It's like 5 pins or whatever. But then there's a 3-headed or 3. I'll just pull one out and show you. It's triangular. So there's this. It's triangular, and that's for like the old school NES or Super Nintendo or something like that. It even has some of the security Torx, which just have a little pin that sticks up in the middle. Yeah, I'm fairly certain the iFixit is just a branded thing of something from AliExpress or whatever, but like when I bought it, which was probably almost 10 years ago at this point, it was kind of the first one to have a complete set. And I needed the Torx or the pentalobe because I was replacing the SSD on my MacBook Pro. And that's how you need a pentalobe to get the case off. So I bought that because I'm like, well, I need this, and it's handy to have the rest of these. And have not regretted it. And I just had a spacer or a frig out. And I put it away, but I needed it for this. Because y'all are distracting me. Yeah, I mean, I have some of the iFixit tweezers, but I also have the off-brand ones. They're the same thing. And tweezers are kind of a wear item for me, especially the pointy ones, because I bend the tips of them. Because I'm not careful with them. Ow. There. Oh, you... Okay. The iFixit tweezers are 100% some off-the-shelf thing that they paid to put branding on. That's not to say they're bad, just to say that, like, there's nothing really all that special about them. Seriously, I seriously did that. I had all this stuff out, and then I put it all away. I do, in general, like supporting iFixit, so I'm fine with getting the branded ones, because I think their build guides or their teardowns are very useful. Their repair guides and stuff like that, like all that stuff is really cool. So it's like, okay, well, if I can support them by buying their branded tweezers that I need anyways, I need tweezers, so fine, I'll do that. Yeah, I definitely have. I definitely didn't do a great job of selecting for standoffs because a lot of these are varying sizes, but that's fine. I don't. My brain, like I said, like 40 minutes ago, I was fading, and I'm about transparent at this point. So I just want to get this together and then try out the backlighting. So it's a little bit out of alignment, probably because of the fact that I have some of these standoffs that aren't the right size. And that's making it hard to get this in here. So cross thread our way to victory. Good enough. Okay. Cool. And now that I've killed enough time, it looks like we have RGB matrix firmware. So that's OBS, not QMK. QMK toolbox. RGB matrix. File. Okay. Plop this in here. Do a little reset. Maybe. There. Nope. Okay. Flash. Weird, it didn't exit TFU, or didn't exit firmware mode. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. So we don't have any lights on, but that's okay. I think. We'll find out in a second. Lighting. Disable, enable, brightness, that's key map. Okay, so okay, we're gonna go back to here, layer 0, backlights on, RGB toggle, RGB mode. Okay, so now I'm gonna do that. Backlight on, okay, RGB toggle. I mean, oh, wait, they are on. Okay, so they're on, but they're all red, which makes it really hard to see that they're on. Okay. So RGB mode, we're just gonna hit this a couple times and let me kill the overhead lights. There we go. There we go. See you later, Ron. Thanks for stopping by. We have full RGB matrix, rainbow barf. These work louder caps look really great, actually. I'm excited about them. See if I can get some Cylon action going here. Oh, you know, I think this is heat map mode. Yep. All right, so let's do. Wow, that is not a mode I've seen before. I'm assuming that's intended. And that it's not like the signal is getting screwed up halfway through. I mean, it looks like it's intended because it looks like the pattern is repeating. It's a very like rave mode. Okay, so that's just red. I don't know what this is. I think it's just off, or maybe it's... Nope, I think that might just be off. I don't know. Yeah, I do love the like two-tone look with the thumbs and the alphas. That is a really slick look. But I also love my rainbow barf. Anywho, that's the Baroboard. This is awesome, and these caps look fantastic on here. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, so this is not intended. This is a like something's wrong. Okay, I can see rain mode. See, it looks better this time. but then it goes weird like this. I think there might be something that is not quite right. Um, there's probably, you know, a couple of them that are cold joints or something like that. But it's good enough for me. Although it's weird that it doesn't do it with the other animated rainbow mode. Anyways, I think I'm going to call it for today. It's been a long stream, but we did good work today. Got the Baroboard set up, played around with the vial a little bit. Got the work louder caps in. Oh, one other thing coming up. So there are some new palm caps apparently coming out from MCC. I'm not really sure. There's a group I channel on the Low Pro server that is for some palm caps, and they're translucent, and some of them have legends. And MK Ultra has offered to send me some for review, I guess you could say, just to kind of like play around with and see what I think. So that'll be coming up soon. Since they're not gonna be mine, I will probably just put them on this or on my corn or something like that, rather than build a board specifically for them. But that'll be coming up soon. Got the 0.2% milk, got the Jerry Cave macro pad, got the MX Osprey. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up. So stay tuned. I will be posting in the channel and Twitter and stuff like that, all the normal places when I'm streaming. If this is the first time streaming or coming to the stream, thanks for swinging by. Can you even see me? Can you even see me? A little bit. Thanks for coming by. This is the kind of stuff I do. I build keyboards on stream, or I work with firmwares or whatever. I have Discord. You can read it down in the description. I don't know. Whatever. Thanks for stopping by. And hope you all have a great weekend. And if you're going to come back tomorrow, great. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm probably going to try to do a 0.2% milk, but I need to go through and like figure out all the parts that he sent me and like kit those things out so that I can just go like, okay, I'm going to grab the 2% milk build so that I'm not like, okay, I have the PCB in front of me and now I got to go find all the parts that are scattered all over the place. Just kind of like a Ziploc bag, which I have a ton of, throw all the stuff in there. It's a kit ready to go for me. So yes, same time. So I generally stream 12 to 3 Pacific time on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And yeah, I spam my links to the stream all over the place. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and have a great weekend.